Hello, citizens of Earth, and welcome to another edition of the Multiversed. I'm your host, Paul, Outlaw Lions, joined with Angela, Outlaw Lions.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Happy Easter.
Yeah.
I would say it's an Easter-themed episode, but it's not. It just so happens to be coming out.
Yeah, I'm just happy it's spring, finally.
Same. I'm happy it's spring, and we have Game of Thrones back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this month, it's like, I have been anticipating this month for such a long time, and now that it's happening and it's here, I'm, like, overwhelmed, and I don't want to, look a gift horse in the mouth, but I'm just like, it's too much. It's too much. It's like, God, yeah, because we got Game of Thrones, Endgame. I got the new season of Lucifer starting May 8th.
That's right.
And then we have Good Omens, which is May 20th. It's just like a lot rolling out, and so I'm very the hype is real, and yeah, I'm bugging out.
It's funny when, like, there used to be this thing as a summer blockbuster, but now it seems like all the big movies are coming out earlier and earlier. Like, I feel like July was a big month, then it was like June, and now it's May. Now it's like April. I mean, the fact that we're getting Endgame in April is pretty
we'll still
wild.
I don't think that's going to change. I still think, summer's going to be the blockbuster season, but I definitely think the Marvel movies have changed a lot of how we treat this time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great that they are they've been creative about when the movies come out. Like we had Captain Marvel in March. We've had Black Panther in February and Doctor Strange in November, so I like that it's not all bundled up into the summer, that we kind of get these little treats to last us. It's just so much cool and exciting stuff. And speaking of things coming out, I am really digging the Swamp Thing trailer. It's a teaser, but I'm excited for it. I think he looks great.
Well, and I'm not the biggest fan of the DC
like the
movie or TV show universe. I'm not because I just think it's kind of like blah blah. But I don't know. That looks good. It looks good. And who's picking it up? It's their channel, right?
Yes. So this is on the DC Universe app, which finally is you can finally get it on Xbox.
Oh, okay.
I just want to know when it's going to be on PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm not an Xbox fan.
I just don't understand why they're dragging their feet, because I've heard different rumors about, they're not sure. I think they're looking at it as not quite the success that they want it to be. But when you release a streaming app that you can only watch on your phone or on your computer, or if you have an Apple TV, it's like, well, you're kind of limiting. You
are limiting yourself, because there is a shift, definitely, I think, going on in our culture, and it's a slow but growing movement of minimalism. Yeah. And people are trying to cut back and cut down on just the sheer input in their daily lives, and just living their lives on that consumer-based reality, and they're trying to just reconnect with themselves for inner happiness, and it's a real thing. And I know it seems very new agey and out of left field, but a lot of people are getting on board, and so I'm excited for all of these new streaming apps coming out and stuff, but I don't know. I think it's going to be oversaturating the market a little bit, and then I think people are going to. I think Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime are dominating, but I think that it's just gonna. People are gonna pick and choose their preferences and their favorites, and that's gonna leave a lot of other streaming apps kind of in the dust. With Disney coming out with their streaming app, and they have so many other properties, with the Star Wars and Marvel and the actual Disney films, that's going to be huge, and I just don't think that DC is going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I think a lot of these streaming services, definitely kind of it seems to me like they kind of have their tail between their legs, especially when not only did Disney announce the Disney Plus, but the fact that they were offering it at $6.99 per month. I know when that happened, like the Netflix stock took a beating in the market because of it. And that's such a good deal, $6.99. When you look at HBO, that app is $14.99.
Yeah, freaking YouTube's like $11.99 or $14.99 a month. It's like, and that's just for like no ads. And already there's only like 2 ads.
Yeah,
like it's not. It's just. Yeah, I think people are going to have to be, these companies are going to have to be a little bit smarter, and there's definitely some more consolidating is going to happen, which I, am not down with because, you create these monopolies, and Disney's already, like, with them taking on Fox, it's like already becoming this huge giant. And
I know, just the fact that, like, Star Wars, Marvel Comics, and The Simpsons are now all under the Mouse House.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it sucks. I mean, because for me, like, it's fucking with me because I'm one of those, like, conspiracy, like, people, and I'm just like, oh, it's too much, it's like... but I love Disney and I love Marvel.
I mean, I'm wearing a Mickey Mouse tank top right now.
Yeah, like, so it's so hard for me because there's that part of me that's like, oh, I love these things. Yeah, I'm going to get to watch, like, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and Bambi. I can, like, go cycle through all of these movies because they're no longer in the vault.
Right, the vault.
But then I got to take a step back because I remember, when Time Warner took on Comcast, I was like, oh my God, it's the beginning of the end. This is a big problem because now it's like, it's Pepsi and Coke, like,
right.
But in every dominating, like, entertainment aspect of our lives, it's like for everything to be like that, because we know 2-party systems suck. We live in a giant 2-party system that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it has its good things, but there's some really shitty things that, and it's very corrupt, and we're now, like, these people are going to be able to dictate, what we spend, when we spend it, and how we spend it in order to get the content that we want. And I'm all for, paying for things that I like, but we're setting ourselves up to get really taken advantage of. So I'm sorry, this is supposed to be fun, and I'm talking like real talk. So it's really hard for me.
I'm just thinking of like a new Avengers lineup, like featuring Rey from Star Wars and Radioactive Man from The Simpsons.
That's at that point, if they start doing stuff like that, then I'll have no problem, like, shutting myself off from that and just, like, getting a cabin in the woods and just living off the land the way that I could totally do now. But
right.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm curious about how it's going to pan out. I mean, I know a lot of people were sort of stressed about Marvel or Marvel being bought by Disney. There was a part of me that was sort of relieved when I heard about that, because I kind of get nervous about the other foot dropping, in the sense of Marvel going through another bankruptcy like they did in the 90s, and like what they had to do to stay afloat. So if you got that kind of Disney backing, I think it kind of secures your place in a sense of longevity. And that may not be like a pure altruistic view, but that was just, I mean, I couldn't help but thinking like that there's some sort of preservation there for these characters.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, but again, I'm very curious to see how it's going to pan out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful. Don't get me wrong. I'm, like, definitely hopeful. I just, am cautious.
Oh, sure.
And aware.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, I'm just kind of going through and I'm starting to, like, tally, okay, like, we gave up cable, because we're just like, well, we stream everything and all we really need is the internet. So I'm trying to, like, tally up, like, what our streaming services that we have, and we need to, like, consolidate them, because, like, we're basically spending what we would have spent on cable, so it's like we're not really saving anything. So I don't know, being an adult and, like, thinking about these things is a little tricky.
Well, it's tough because you have to weigh the things that you love. It's like, we love Game of Thrones.
Yes.
So we have to have HBO. Like, we love Brooklyn
and John Oliver.
And then you look at Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Orville. You would need Hulu for that.
Yeah.
So it's tough where you almost kind of wish that there was just like a, you know.
Well, it's also the same thing, though, with, oh, God, I always forget this channel that basically runs RuPaul's Drag Race, and they do, like, a lot of, gay...
Is it VH1?
No. But it does air on VH1, but it started off Logo. Logo, yeah. So
I was going to say Hallmark.
And years ago, when RuPaul first started... I caught that joke. I'm not trying to dismiss it.
Thank you.
I didn't appreciate that. But when RuPaul's Drag Race first started, I was like, oh my God, great. Now I got to get a Logo account so I can stay up to date on this. But then I was like, oh, well, VH1, we'll air it, we'll re-air it. But then you can also get it through Netflix and sometimes Hulu. I don't know. It got weird the last couple of years. But eventually you'll get the whole season. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just wait, and I think what it really comes down to is, personal responsibility and being like, hey, am I willing to wait, or do I have to have this right this second? And we live in a culture that perpetuates this idea that, oh, we have to have everything right this second, now, immediately when we want it. And, you remember the time before, the internet was good. And, you remember having to wait for shit and having to wait every week if you wanted, like, that episode, you remember these things.
Or not even that, but just, like, getting a sneak peek of something. You had, like, buy a magazine for it.
You did it. You had to buy the magazine, and if you didn't have the money for the magazine, you had to, like, do extra chores to get that money. You could go and buy it. And so I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm used to. I am more patient, I feel like, than a lot of our the people in our generation. I'm definitely more on the patient side. So I can wait.
Right. Well, now it's, I almost kind of feel like a Pandora's box has been opened, because the internet, has kind of given us this opportunity to get for that instant gratification, and now I think in some ways it's sort of kind of gotten out of control. Like, you look at what CNBC reported with that huge Endgame leak. Yeah, I mean, talk about not being able to wait. I mean, the fact that it's such a huge. I mean, there was a lot of content that got released from that movie, which obviously we won't go into for those who. Don't want any spoilers, but it's
like, I didn't see it. I was working the whole day. Paul definitely saw it, and I demanded that he tell me, not because and this is just for me, not because I actually wanted to know what happened. I just needed, like, a little more peace, because I am so anxious. I have been so anxious about this.
They've been so secretive.
And I'm so anxious, being like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And so knowing actually will help me enjoy this movie more, because I'm not going to be, like, so stressed out. I can, like, because I'm really stressed out with Game of Thrones right now. I am so freaking stressed out. Like, oh my God, I had to stop watching Dexter because it stressed me out too much. You
stopped watching Battlestar Galactica because it was stressing you out.
Oh my God, it stressed me out so much. I was just like, I can't. This is, like, my life isn't this stressful. And I was, like, homeless twice. So I'm just like, I can't have my, like, entertainment stressing me out this much.
Right. Well, what's interesting too, going back to media, is like when the Endgame trailer got released, I remember having to tell people, like, hey, people in my office, like, you gotta be careful on Reddit and Twitter, because all of it's out there. So it's like, I've actually had people at work who were like, I haven't touched social media in a week because I'm just so afraid of the risk of getting an Endgame spoiler.
Well,
so
and I told, it's funny, because next weekend, so not this weekend, because it's not tonight, because tonight is episode 2 of Game of Thrones, but next weekend is the Battle of Winterfell. And my boss scheduled a whole store meeting.
What a jackass.
At 7:00 when it airs. And I told him, I was like, dude, you're gonna get some pushback. And he was like, why? And I knew about this weeks ago. I was like, because that's gonna be the Battle of Winterfell. And he's like, oh, people have DVR. And I'm just like, oh, nobody fucking has DVR anymore because it's 2019. We stream everything. But I was like, that's not the point. So I have to actively avoid my cell phone until after the meeting and until I get home. And now, granted, I don't have far to travel, but that's not the point. I have to actively avoid everything because motherfucker's gonna die in that episode. Like, a lot of people are gonna die, and I can't. I just can't. And I need to focus on like my career and my job. And I know it's just like an hour, but it's like, oh my God, like I can't. So I'm very stressed out about it. So I think getting those endgame, the point is on my ranting, getting those endgame spoilers a little bit. And they weren't big spoilers because I still have no idea what's going on in the plot.
It's basically seeing these scenes out of context.
Yeah.
So if anything, I feel like it just gets me more riled up. Like, why is this thing happening?
Yeah, yeah.
What led to this?
Yeah,
I can't believe Harry Potter. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Shit. Okay, Rob, delete that. Harry Potter is not an Endgame.
So so it actually does make me feel a little more calm when we go to see it, because I'm just like, okay, you know.
But it's interesting now that like you really can't wait. It's like you have to I have to fucking rush through this thing before someone spoils it. Like almost to the point now where I feel like you can't even enjoy it. Like I remember when, speaking of Harry Potter, when Deathly Hallows came out, I remember being in a park reading it and be like, oh, I gotta get through this because I don't want anybody to spoil it. You know, because we could fucking read these books in a day. And I remember in the park, this kid coming up to me and being like, Harry Potter, that's cool. I hear Ron dies. And I'm like, that's fucking true. There is no spell that will bring you back.
Threatening children.
Like, I mean, and then I spent the whole time reading it thinking,
oh God,
is this where Ron dies? Is this where Ron dies? Like, you know, see, it sucks.
So we, you know, a lot of retailers got the book early, and we technically weren't supposed to get it early, and so I got my hands on it, and I like triple wrapped it in like paper, and I like walked home. I didn't take the like train or the bus or anything. I walked home and I basically held up in my room for 3 days. I straight up nested and I read this book like, whoa. And I left my room to eat a little bit and to pee, but that was it. I didn't shower. I just like, that's what I focused on, was reading this book. And just taking it in because I had moments, but I couldn't interact with people because I'd finished it before it came out, and so.
Were you allowed to do that? To read the book before?
Well, I mean, I had it.
Yeah.
In my hands. So.
J.K. Rowling, if you're listening.
Oh, stop it. I don't want to get nobody in trouble. But like, yeah, but I kept it. I had to keep it, you know, to my chest. And so I did. But I know a lot of retailers got it early and stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of people read it. But still, you had to keep that shit like tight. And
lock and key.
Yeah, seriously. But, you know, but I did. I had to avoid like, I kind of just walled myself off from everybody from that. But no, I feel this shit too much. I'm way too invested. I'm way too invested. I mean, come on. When Endgame came out, not Infinity War came out, like, I'm not kidding when I tell people that I was so stressed out that it made me start my period 5 days early. And I cried, and you remember that meltdown I had in the car ride on the way home? Like, it was crazy.
You know, it's funny because I remember watching Infinity War, and I remember it just ending, and I remember just trying to really put up a barrier and not let it sink in, you know, because I just remember when it ended and just that small thought of, wow, it's going to be 365 days till I know what the fuck is going to happen next. Like, the wait begins now.
I remember everybody in our theater, like, nobody moved. Everybody
we just
stared at this. We were in a packed theater, and everybody just sat there and just stared and watched the letters, like, turn to dust.
Yeah.
And we just sat there being like, well, this can't be it. And we sat there through the entire credits and all of it, and just being like, and when, you know, all of it was over, we were still just sitting there like,
and I was like, P.S. Nick Fury, Maria Hill, bits dust.
Yeah, and we're just like, this can't be it.
Yeah.
You know, and just that wave of people walking out like they, like, straight up, like, you know, had just been in, like, World War II. Like, with the way we just marched out of that theater, just, like, silent. It was bananas. But, yeah, I, like, broke down in the car, and... yeah, I mean, I'm not making that up.
So if there was a data leak like Endgame for Infinity War, do you think and you knew, like, oh, everybody turns to dust in the end, would that have helped the experience when you saw it knowing what the outcome would have been?
It would have a little bit, definitely. I wouldn't have been, I mean, because I knew shit was going to happen, and I knew he had to do the snap. I knew that. I knew it, like, in my head, but I was so just, like, the hype was so real.
Yeah.
And I think, though, that I would have been able to stomach it a little bit more.
Right.
So I think it definitely would have helped me. And I think watching, because I couldn't watch it again. It was hard for me to watch it again when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, we were like, oh, we got to watch it. And I was just like, yeah, we do. You know? Because it was still very raw. But now the more I watch it, the more I'm like, okay.
Right.
Okay, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like that with a lot of movies and TV shows for me. Like, rewatching. That's why I like Game of Thrones. The rewatchability of it is so much easier because I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, can you imagine, like, think back to, like, the 80s when people saw The Empire Strikes Back with that ending and then having to wait, like, 4 years.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. I think, though, I mean, I feel like Sailor Moon trained me pretty well because, like, for the first, like, I think, like, 6 years that show aired, it ended on a cliffhanger in Sailor Moon R, and then you would think, okay, well, maybe the next episode will take you, like, further, and it never did. It always started with the very first episode of season 1.
That is just fucking
and
mean.
You never knew. You just never knew. So I would watch it, and I mean, I cycled it. I cycled it every time.
That's terrible.
And, I mean, it was probably shorter. It was probably, like, 4 years, but still, it's a lot.
But when you're a kid, I mean,
it's
time is so different.
And you always thought, and I remember it got to the point where me and my friends were like, okay, is it going to continue? Is it gonna, I hear this time it's going to continue. And then the next day, boom, episode 1. And it was like, it was crushing every time, and it never got easier.
I just don't know if I could have done that. Like, I'm thinking back to, like, I remember waiting forever for the next episode of X-Men. You know, because that had, like, some, like...
Epic.
Right, yeah, I mean, you know, like...
Yeah, but it ended, like, on a crazy cliffhanger. Like, it did. Like, there was no resolution. We didn't know what was going to happen next. But, yeah, so old bitches like me who watched, like, Sailor Moon in 94, 95, 96, like, y'all know. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And that shit hurt every time. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think I was trained to be, like, disappointed. But, I don't know. I still can't master my anxiety when it comes to these films and these franchises because I am bugging out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like the level of excitement. It's like I'm trying to think about it.
Oh, God.
But I also made a countdown on my phone for Endgame. Which, I'm kind of curious now to see where we're at in the Endgame wait, which I
adjusted my schedule so I can, like, you know, get out of work and
on Thursday
head straight to that fucking movie theater
because we're seeing it in 4 days, 7 hours, 9 minutes, and 6 seconds.
It's so much, and I know I'm gonna be sitting in that movie theater just being like, I can't believe this happening. I can't believe this happening. Because this whole last year I have been, like, shook.
And it's been, I mean, and not that I haven't enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp or Captain Marvel, but, like...
It wasn't until that cutscene at the end of Captain Marvel that I was just like, ah! Yeah. Like, I got some relief. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, just tell me. Yeah. Just tell me. I need to know how this wraps up. This is too much.
Yeah, but it's at least we have, like, some other things to look forward to. And, you know, talking earlier about, like, a saturated market, you know, Amazon's pushing some comic book content now. You got The Boys with Carl Urban, which looks great.
I love me some Carl Urban. I love Carl Urban. We got two Neil Gaiman series out because they're rolling out American Gods Now season 2,
right?
And then they're coming out with Good Omens, which I'm very excited for. Yes. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Totally, and I have heard nothing but good things about The Tick.
Yeah,
which is also an Amazon Prime original.
All right, so we gotta get on that.
Yeah, I think I might check that out. But it's just amazing how much good stuff we have out there. You know, it's funny, just we're talking about the 90s and some nostalgia. I heard that Marvel Comics is bringing back the swimsuit edition.
Yes.
Just hopefully without, like, what people thought was sexy in the 90s.
I gotta be honest, I am loving the swimsuit game now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like swimsuits nowadays, like, they're so cool, and there's so many neat styles and stuff, so I'm excited to see that. Mm-hmm. Although I would be cool with them doing, like, the shitty 90s swimsuits, because I loved that.
I just remember the Punisher with, like, a skull metal, like, Speedo thing.
Yeah. Which is just, I'm
Even
down.
Thanos is featured in one of those.
Ooh, I'm excited. I think it's fun. I love the swimsuit edition. It's tongue-in-cheek, and you know me, I appreciate tongue-in-cheek.
I will say, being a kid and seeing, like some of the Jim Lee stuff with, like, Psylocke. Good God. There's actually because I'm rereading the X-Men stuff, there's actually a really funny moments, I should say, where they're teasing a lot of tension between Psylocke and Cyclops.
Okay.
Yeah, really interesting.
Okay.
But, like, there's, like, a whole bit where, like, Psylocke comes out of a lake and she's just dripping, and Cyclops is like, what?
Well, she's hot.
Yeah. No, it's
they're all hot. I mean, I don't know. I'm okay. I'm okay. I dig it. I mean, hot people are great. But at the same time, I'm also down for, like, normal people.
Right.
I feel like our culture really needs to learn how to, like, embrace and appreciate normal people. And I'm not talking, like, when some people are like, oh, normal people, like fat people. I'm not talking like that. I'm talking about, like, normal people.
Well, it's funny when you watch a movie and, like, you see somebody who's funny looking and the guy that's good looking. You're like, oh, well, we know who the hero is going to be and who the sidekick is going to be. Like, it's just... I think we've been conditioned and trained now where we just kind of pick up the story elements, I think, before they kind of unfold. So, because in honor of Easter, I watched one of, I don't know if I would call it one of my favorites. I actually never had seen it before, but I know it's a pop culture favorite as far as Resurrection goes. Jason Lives, and the movie opens with these two guys going into the graveyard, and, like, one's really good looking, for 80s standards, and the other is, like, kind of goof, and, like, okay, well, I wonder who's gonna live and who's gonna die.
Yeah,
and,
it's pretty obvious.
Totally obvious.
Yeah. No, it's just, I don't know. I think, I don't know. We could do a whole episode on, like, body standards and things like that. I could doubt, because I have a lot to say about it.
Sure.
I do.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, just kind of, we'll have to note that for future episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it comes to fashion. Like, I definitely want to review, the fashion in comics through the ages, because I think in some cases it's gotten better.
If you have 3 hours and, like, some vodka, we can go into detail, because I have opinions on all of it. I do.
Right. Well, I you look at, like, going back to Psylocke. That's like a bathing suit with ribbon.
But there's a lot of... Elektra has the bathing suit with ribbon. I mean, Captain Marvel when she was Miss Marvel was a bathing suit and ribbon.
Yeah, that's what
it's a thing. People like the hip sash.
Right,
I like the hip sash and thigh highs. I think it's cute.
Right,
and I like bathing suits, so...
Well, what I like is that we're coming to a point now where the costumes for women they have so much more functionality to it.
Yeah.
With a hip sash.
With a hip sash, which I'm still okay with, you know? I would like them to be a little more cool for dudes, I'm gonna be honest. I just think the guys, I think women have gotten a lot of love in terms of sexy attire, and I don't think the dudes have gotten the same amount of love for sexy attire.
Yeah.
I think guy outfits are the dumbest. Women, it's easy for women to, like, look at a character like, Scarlet Witch in her classic outfit, and she's like, this bitch is in some pirate boots and, like, a fucking leotard and a cape, like, and she's got this weird stupid head thing. It doesn't make any sense. It's easy for us because we're always judging, like, that's just what we do. But for guys, like, we don't really take a step back and say, you know what, we need some better standards.
Yeah.
We need to hold these guys at a higher standard.
Right.
Yes, they're chiseled, they're ripped, but we're not showing the skin.
Right.
And I know there are plenty of people that would love to see the skin.
Sure. No, yeah.
I mean, if we're going to over-sexualize, we might as well do it equally, right?
Right. One thing...
equal opportunist. That's...
Yeah. Well, that kind of brings me to something I wanted to ask you. One thing that's been a surprisingly big hit is the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover. I loved the first book they did. They're currently working on a part 3. There is also a animated film coming out featuring Batman.
That's so
fun. But they released some concept art for the third installment, and I was curious to kind of get your feedback on this because
I do like that because they're not as uniform. Like Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, they all kind of have their like little things,
right?
That because before, I mean, they're all very uniform. The only thing that you could really tell them apart from was their color of their mask and their weapons. That's how you can like identify them,
right?
And it looks like they're really kind of, being more individual, and I think it's good. I think those boys need to, feel like.
Right. What do you think about them kind of taking on some of the Bat imagery, like Leonardo?
I think it's cute.
Yeah, like Leonardo's kind of rocking the Nightwing symbol.
Yeah.
Michelangelo. He's kind of got like a bat-shaped domino mask, still orange.
Yeah, and he's got his little cape and his hood, his cloak. It's more of a cloak than a cape, and I appreciate it. Of course, Raphael has to be the badass.
So he's Red Hood.
Red Hood.
I don't know about the mask, but I kind of like the Red Hood symbol on the chest.
Yeah, it seems, but at the same time, like I don't like it, but Raphael would like it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it
like
does.
he would love that. He'd be like, "Oh, it's so badass. I'm such a badass."
Yeah.
Because that's Raphael. He wants to be a badass so bad. It's cute.
Yeah.
And Donatello's just like, "Sure, I'll do whatever." Okay, guys.
Right. Yeah.
Can I come?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm cool too, right?
Yeah.
I love Donatello.
Yeah. No, but like if you get the chance, just like try to Google image some of this stuff because it's
It's cute.
Yeah, and they got not just the turtles. It looks like, but they got like a Killer Croc, like Bebop, Rocksteady thing going on. Killer Croc with Bebop's costume. I don't know. It's like you wouldn't expect to like this mashup, but I loved it.
It was cute.
Yeah, it's great, and now it looks like.
I know I keep saying it, but I do. I think it's just adorable.
I'm excited for the animated movie.
Splinter's in like a fucking 3-piece suit.
And he's like Splinter Alfred.
With shorts.
Yeah. I'm curious to see...
He's got little shorts. It's like a little English boy. Like school uniform shorts. It's adorable.
Yeah. Short pants, wrapped legs, shorter mustache, stands up tall.
He's kind of got that, like, he definitely put some gel in that stash and styled it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, Splinter.
Yeah,
you feel good about yourself.
Right, looking all prim and proper.
Yeah, it's nice.
Joker, leader of the Smile Clan. Ordinarily I would think this stuff was ludicrous, but I really did enjoy that first outing, and I'm so excited for that animated movie.
Yeah.
So good. So fun. Yeah. But yeah, pretty. I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm glad that so far the redesigns kind of pass your
my standards. I really don't have that high of standards. I just have standards. There's a difference.
I think the difference. I would say the difference is your passion.
I am very passionate about it. Because I'm not one of those people, like, I don't think that anything should be, like, very specific in a box. I don't think things need to be functional in order for them to be okay. Like,
right.
I'm pretty loose with those kind of, like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
I just think, like, I have my aesthetic, my personal aesthetic, and if things kind of go outside of that aesthetic, it's okay, and I'm not going to judge it as, like, bad or terrible. I'm only going to judge it bad or terrible if it actually is bad or terrible, and I think there is, like, I don't know, like, I don't know. We have to just kind of, if it's just stupid and ugly, like, I don't know. I'm not helping myself here by any stretch of the imagination.
No, we'll
if it's boring, that's pretty much my,
right.
If it's really boring, then I'm just like, ugh, that's terrible and dumb.
Yeah. I was looking over the Marvel solicitations just to kind of see if we were getting any hint of, swimsuit goodness, but Guess
yet?
not. No, but I am excited that Ecstatic is coming back with Michael Allred doing the art.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. But we'll save the swimsuit edition for a later episode. So that's kind of pretty much most of the news that we had to discuss this week for our news edition of Multiverse. But I still like to end the episode with things that we've been enjoying, reading, watching. Anything you've been...
Well, I mean, I've been so focused on Game of Thrones. I am obsessed. But it was cool because, you showed me this morning, but I think everybody needs to know that it was that this morning we discovered that SZA, The Weeknd, and Travis Scott released a Game of Thrones inspired song called "Power Is Power," and it's so good that my reaction was just like, "Oh, those fucking nerds!" Like, I love it. It's so good, and it's so nerdy, but it's so wonderful. So, if you are a fan of the Black Panther soundtrack,
it's definitely got some Black Panther nods in there.
You'll love it. But I love it, and I was trying to just before we started recording, I'm trying to deeply piece together.
Yeah, you were decoding the lyrics.
Okay, that's Jon. Okay, that's clearly the Night King. Okay, is that Sansa or Arya? I don't think it's Daenerys. Yeah, it was just a mess. So that's
really cute.
That's all I'm focused on. I'm just so focused because the new episode's airing tonight, and I'm just like,
right. Yeah. No.
See what I mean? Stressed. I need to take a step back. And I can't. Oh my God.
Well, that's why I really enjoyed Shazam. I saw Shazam last night. I definitely would love to talk about this more in an episode with some of the other members of Multiverse.
Yeah, because I don't care. And
you do not.
I don't care.
Hence why you didn't go with me.
No, and it's definitely a movie that I will watch at an afternoon when I'm by myself and Domino's napping, and I'm like, oh, I could take a nap, but I'm not really tired, and I don't want to mess up how I sleep tonight, so maybe I'll watch a movie. That's the kind of movie I'm going to watch in that time. But it's not something I'm going to go out of my way to see. And I got really mad when I heard some of the people being like, finally a superhero movie for everybody. Fuck you.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Well,
because kids can you can take your shitty kid to go see it. Okay. I don't know. I just don't like that. I don't like that thing that's it's so passive aggressive. It's such a passive aggressive criticism of the Marvel movies, where I'm just why?
Yeah.
Why, guys? Come on.
Well, I loved it. And I thought Zachary Levi was great. No, because it was... If
it made you laugh.
It made me laugh, and I had fun, and I think it really...
But I'm going to be real. As if I haven't been real this entire time. I don't entirely trust you because y'all and you and everybody else in the podcast was like, oh, Aquaman was surprisingly really good. And then I sat through it and I was like, you motherfuckers done lied to me. It was not. I was not. There were some moments that were like, oh, this is fun, this is enjoyable, but I mean, that bitch playing the flute.
Oh, yeah.
When he was waking up, I was like, what the hell am I watching?
Right. Well.
So my trust is a little
and that's fine.
Broken.
That's fine. But I really enjoyed Shazam because it was basically big. In a lot of ways, I liked Shazam more than Aquaman. I just kind of like the idea, basically the premise of the movie, just kind of exploring what it means to be a part of a family. And it felt like, because Billy Batson is an orphan who's just trying to find his mother. And yeah, I just kind of like what it means to, for it to kind of fit in and kind of being around by people who, aren't blood relation, can be closer to you and have a deeper impact than, your actual family is. So I loved that, and I feel like when he gets his powers and the things he does with it is something a 14-year-old would totally do. But it was fun, and for me, it kind of hit that level of when I was a kid wishing I had superpowers. I really liked that. Zachary Levi just does a great job of being a kid in a man's body, and when he confronts Mark Strong, who was fantastic in this as the film's antagonist. When he shows up and, even though this kid has all this powers, he's, like, afraid of him.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was just such a, like, a realistic thing. So I liked kind of watching him exploring his powers, but also exploring his place in the world with or without the abilities. And it was sweet. I just thought it was... It was good. It was solid, and it was fun, and I had a good time, and the cast was great.
That's what's important.
Yeah, so I know Jay saw it. Maybe Jay and I will do a full Shazam review at some point. But thank you so much for listening. Thanks for sticking with us through this transition. And more content to come. We're working on kind of being more regular about the articles and the episodes that we put up. So again, do appreciate your loyalty.
Yes.
And, stick with us again. What was ChronoSpeakeasy.com is the graphic multiverse.com. Even if you go to ChronoSpeakeasy.com, it's going to direct you to our new website. So I hope you all have a happy Easter.
Yes.
Keep exploring the multiverse and enjoy your issues.